Alright guys, welcome back to Sky Factor 2.5. I finished the reactor, except for one block, which I will put in a minute, but I want to show you guys something else real quick. So early this morning, or kinda last night-ish, I hit the stream for a little bit, and I need a little bit of help with some wiring issues with this little storage thing I made. So basically this is a line coming off the back corner-ish of my ME system, and I put a bunch of these caches up here. Each one is hooked up to an export bus. You can see them attached to the top or bottom of the cache. They are exporting each specific item from the system into these caches. So none of these items will be in my ME system. And on the back of each one of these is a storage bus to show the system what's in each one so that it can use it for crafting recipes or whatever. And that one is actually about to be full. I'll have to upgrade that in a minute. But anyway, so I had these wires. There's a row of wires connected to the back where the storage buses are. And then there's the row across the middle that had the export buses on them, and then there's a row on the back of the next line that had more storage buses for the bottom row. So that should be 20 channels total, and this line here can hold 32, and well, I had 20, I added 2 more, now it's at 24. Why is this 24? 6, 12, oh, it's 6 now, okay. It was only like 15. Anyway, but all of the connections through here tried to go through the exact same wire, even though I had a second wire over here for the ones on the end to use. And a couple of the buses were not working correctly. So I hit stream, asked for some help, and got the help I needed. It's all fixed up now, thanks to people that came by. A couple people got some notifications that I went live and showed up, and I was just like, yeah, I need some help with this if anybody's taking a look at it or whatever. So thanks everybody that showed up, even though I was only streaming for maybe 30 minutes or so. But got it worked out. It's working perfectly fine now. All these items are being exported to the caches. They're being properly recognized by the system, and the wiring is all correct. So the deal was, all I had to do was separate this line going across the middle, because everything wanted to go that way. Let me look at it from the front, you can probably see it better. So that line through the middle is a smart cable, and they only hold 8 channels. So if you count here, that's 2, 4, 6, 8, and then you have to put a panel. You can make those with the saw and just cutting down blocks of whatever you want. I put a panel vertically between them there to separate those 8 from these other 4. So now those 4 use their own set of lines back around the other side like I wanted them to originally. But the smart cable wanted everything to go straight that way to like here where the lapis and quartz are, and then back to the dense cable, because that was the most direct route. Even though there was a line that was not being used, it wanted to use the other one. So anyway, just had to put a little separator right there, and now all of this traffic here goes out this way. Also, I used some panels. I need to make some more glass ones because they look better. Used some panels here to separate the top row from the middle or bottom rows. That keeps the cross channel pathing to a minimum there also. And that also helped the problems I was having with this machinery here not exporting correctly. A lot of that I think was just the routing of the channel information. I don't know why it makes a difference for this, but if you put panels to block off where you don't want traffic to flow on your system, like I didn't really need this line down here to be connected to the line over here. So I put a row of panels, and now everything works fine. I also put a couple of panels here to separate the top row of assemblers from the bottom row of assemblers. Even though no traffic was going between them, at a later point I don't want these crossing. Like if I put an extra one over there, I would rather it say, hey, you can't put one here because there's already 8, than trying to route through the other side. So anyway, if you're having trouble, check all your connections. If you have something that looks like a lot of crisscrossed like squares in your lines, then separate them out a little bit and make sure your lines are straight, or count them. Keep all your connections separated by groups of 8 or so until you get to dense cable, then you're fine. Anyway, I also moved the food export chest thing up here instead of back there on the end. It works pretty much anywhere it's attached to the system. I made another box here, this 3 purples. Triple purple is my general store things in the ME box. So this actually has an import bus on it. So my ender pouch here, anything I put in that goes to the system. So anywhere I am, I can deposit to the system from there. And then I moved the gem box. It's black, lime, and cyan. That was our chest that these things were going in before and being sorted out. It's the ender chest connected to the sifting system back there. So anything coming out of there that is a gem, or one of these things here, these I just generally refer to as gems. Even though coal really isn't, and flint kind of isn't, but almost is. Anyway, these items here coming from over there will end up in their appropriate buses by going through the ME system. Alright, got that out of the way. Let's go crank on the reactor. I made a whole bunch of fuel. It might not be enough, but here's the box. It already took a stack right there. Supposedly it takes blocks. I haven't tried it myself yet, but we're about to. If it uses all this, which I suspect it will, then we're going to get into blocks behind those. So here's the import bus, the import reactor port in, whatever. What is it called here? Inlet mode. Yeah, whatever. The inlet port for the reactor. It's receiving items from this chest, which will probably at some point be an ender chest that will be connected to the ME system to auto export any yellorium ingots into it. So it'll go from the ME system to here and go into the reactor. And then also right next to it I put another port. This one's in outlet mode. This has a pipe going out into the cyanite reprocessor. So we're going in on the bottom, out to the right. Anything that's processed will go in this chest here. I already have a few in there from using my small reactor. And this thing needs power and water also. So I have a line coming off of this energy cell. The power tap is straight behind this cell right here, by the way. It exports to this cell, that one exports up and then to the tesseract, and that is tied to our power system for everything else. So I have a continuous power buffer here. I may make a few more of these just to store a little bit extra power, but I'm not too worried about it right now. But I've got a line coming off of this one, going straight across here to the processor to power that. And it also needs water, so I've got water coming in from the top. This is a ender tank triple blue. That's my general water tank. And that is being filled up from way over here. This is just a transfer node world interaction upgrade on top of a water source block. We'll pull in water, and that goes into the triple blue ender tank right there. I was using this source to power the sprinkler that was on that farm right there for the longest time. Broke it down, didn't use a sprinkler, haven't used it for a little while now. And then I hooked it up to this glacial precipitator, was making blocks of ice for a couple of days. Filled up a cache full of ice blocks. It's right here. I've got 40,000 ice in there now. No use for it yet. Anyway, I think that explains this whole system. I put this solar panel right here. This solar panel 4 was on top of the tesseract right there. It wasn't really helping. The power wasn't going anywhere, so I figured I would put it here so that it will power this bottom cell to help out while the reactor is off. You know, just to slow the drain a little bit, but I'm still gaining power with just that solar panel on my system. Anyway, let's go ahead and get this block in here. Oh, let me show you the top here. Let's go on up here. So I've got a row of fuel rods all the way across. They should all be set to 0%. That's the default. I'm not going to name any of them or anything like that. And let's see, can I get right here so you can see? It did remember that I had some fuel in the system before I turned it off before. So those rods in there look like they have a little bit of fuel in them. You can see one of my diamond blocks there. There should be another one right behind here. So there's 8 rows. And I'm thinking I've got everything else set up correctly. We're going to find out here in just a minute. Let's see, extract there. That goes here, out that side. That's on extract. Always active goes into the box. Okay, so we should be good. Let's go ahead and pop this in here. Let it load everything in. Make sure everything is connected. We've got connected textures all the way around. Alright. So, let's check out our controller here. Casing heat 20, that's just room temperature as far as it's concerned. 0 fuel, status offline. Alright, so I thoroughly suspect this thing is going to produce more power than I'm ever going to need, and it took the entire stack of fuel already. It's still taking fuel. 4% full. 4.5%. Yeah. Let me get speed upgrade real quick. If I've got one. Looks like no. Maybe I dropped them off in here. These are called speed upgrades, right? Yeah. Item conduit speed upgrade. Let's just get, well, 15 is the maximum. I'm missing quartz dust. Alright. 10? Nope. 5. Good enough. That'll move us up to 24 items per operation. And I have it on the wrong mode. It's taking a minute. Where is it getting hung up at? Ah, of course. We're waiting on electrical steel. Because it's using the alloy smelter, but not the induction smelter, even though they both have the electrical steel pattern. I don't know how it chooses which to use, and I also don't know why it doesn't use both simultaneously. I mean, it should. They both have the recipe for it. Nothing has any sort of priority set, so I might have to do that. Anyway, there's 3 of them. Let's just go put those in. That'll put us up to 16 items per operation. No, 20. Oh, it's all gone already. Okay, well, that got us to halfway full. Let's turn this thing on for just a second. You guys ready? Want to see how fast the power fills up over here? This can only take 32,000 per tick, and I don't know how much this is gonna export. The reactor on our multiplayer server is exactly the same size with exactly the same fuel rod setup, but the coolant is not stacks of diamond blocks, it's all resonant ender flowing down the entire height of it on both sides. So we're going to do a comparison here. I'm going to have to get this thing full to do a full comparison though. But for now, at about half fuel, let's see what we get out of this. 100,000 per tick. On our server, we're getting just shy of 1,000,000 per tick. 350, 60, 70. These are filling up pretty quick. Well, as fast as they can, I'm sure. 420, 30, 40. Well, there's about where it's gonna level off at right there. 480 and counting. At 50, almost 50% fuel. 6 millibucket per tick fuel conversion. 491 to, yeah, the heat's right short of 2,000. That's right about where I wanted it. Maybe a little higher than that. $11.48, 9, 8.5 ish. Looks like everything's holding steady right about there. So we're at just short of 500,000 at 49% fuel. Alright, let me cut this off. Deactivate. That entirely filled all the cells instantly. Well, not instantly, but yeah. That's every power cell I have full now. All the fuel's gone. And we ejected at least a couple of cyanite. Looks like about 6 or 7 total. Anyway, so yeah, that's that. I'm expecting it to be just short of 1,000,000 RF. It'll be comparable to the one that we have on our server, and I'm never going to use that much power. I might set up a computer craft terminal here to auto toggle this thing on and off as it needs to, but as soon as it comes on, it'll be clicking right back off again in about 10 seconds. So I'll probably just keep an eye on these cells here, and whenever they get a little bit low, then I'll walk over here and click it on for a second. But there's my maximum size reactor being passively cooled. And actually, somewhere in a stream, I clicked off this actively cooled reactor. So the difference is, passively cooled is you just having the reactor sitting there with stuff in it to cool it. And so that I clicked off. The actively cooled is you have to use a turbine to cool your reactor, as far as I know. So I have not made any turbines. That I'm going to unclick. So we can do this one though, creating a maximum size reactor. We have topped 1,000 RF, 10,000 RF, and 100,000 RF. We went straight to about 400,000 there. Haven't made the turbine, so that's next on the list for turbines and big reactors. Haven't done the dragon egg still. That's the only other thing back this way in the book that we haven't done. Our dragon egg has been sitting next to the spawn point for several days worth of out of game time. Well, probably a couple of weeks now, really. Next thing we want to get into is Thaumcraft according to the book progression. But I think I'm going to do Botania next. That will be my next project. So I'm going to make a little bit of a grass patch somewhere. Maybe I'll use this one behind the cow field. Nothing has spawned there. And I'll set up some Botania stuff back here. Also, guys, if you're interested in the map seed, again, I will post it here real quick. It should be right Here, yeah, it's there about in the middle of the chat box. Here it is again at the bottom if you'd like to see it. I'm going to post a link in the description of the video to a mapping website that you can put a map seed into, and it shows you where all your biomes and stuff is. I actually put the seed into it and looked at the biomes and am not surprised at what my map looks like. If you guys watched the episode that I titled Flowers, I think, where I went and made these waypoints, I am not surprised at what I found on that map. So if you want to go see what my world looks like, if it wasn't a void world, if you want to go see what it would look like, go check it out. I will leave it in the description for you guys. But yeah, this will be a little short of an episode, only about 21 minutes now. But until next time, guys, you have a good day. Have fun playing your game. Have fun in Sky Factory. I'll see you next time. Have a good day.